Today we're going back to one of my favourite breweries that have, after the last couple of beers, they've lost their shine a little bit. But this is a Deya beer. This is an IPA, something that I think that their strength lies, and this is against community guidelines. Keep on watching to find out what it's like. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today I'm going to review a beer from Deya, and as I said in the introduction, this is called Against Community Guidelines. It's an IPA, and I'll read you the blurb. The IPA is brewed with large proportion of wheat to plump up the body and prop up the foam. Dry hop with Citra, Strata, Enigma for clean lemon and orange top notes, followed by pithy bitterness, and it's a 6% IPA. So as I said, I've been a bit disappointed in the last couple of days. They were pale ales. They weren't as good. The body wasn't as good as you'd expect from Deya. Weren't as creamy. Just didn't have that sort of Deya sort of special magic. And I thought, well, what's going on? Have they changed something? So I've got two IPAs this month from Deya. This is a 6% one and another 6.5%. So we'll see if this can build themselves up a little bit. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass, see what it's all about. Hopefully from that description saying there's lots of wheat in it, so that hopefully it's going to get something a bit creamy, because they've just seemed to have lost their mouthfeel, sort of, what they're known for. It just doesn't seem to quite be there. So beer in a glass, again, it looks a little bit, there's a haze there, but I would say it's not that usual Deya sort of real sort of thick yellowy colour. It's got a slight orange tinge to it. It's got a nice froth on it, 2 fingers, fairly compacted, sort of pretty much a white, just a slightly off white head. Looks pretty good. Looks good in its Deya glass. Let's see what it smells like. Oh, it's really juicy. You're getting that strong sort of sweet orange flavour, mango, a bit of citrus fruits, maybe some other sort of just general tropicalness about it. It smells pretty good, and it smells quite sweet and inviting. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. That's more like it. Mouthfeel, really creamy. Really, really creamy. But it's really got those nice sort of juicy, fruity, tutti fruities almost sort of flavour to it. Lots of, I think sort of, I wouldn't, even though there was a little bit of that sort of mango and sweet orange on the aroma. In terms of the flavour, it's just got a bit of everything in it, really. Lots of sort of sweet, juicy sort of fruits. Yes, there's lots of there's orange, and there's sort of a tropical flavour that's mainly mango. There's a bit of peach in there. There's a bit of those other stone fruits, like apricot as well. And then there's a little bit more, I'd say there wasn't much in the way of like bright lemon and zesty lime or even grapefruit, really. What we get on the back end is a little bit more that just sort of rounds out sort of more of a sort of slightly orange rind, a bit more orange, a bit more stronger orange flavour, really. It's a very sort of orange based and stone fruit based, but again, the star of it is the typical star of all Deya beers, or what certainly there were last year, is that creamy mouthfeel. And it definitely, the foam itself, if you look at it, I've just poured it out again, really thick looking foam, and when you drink it, you almost you can feel that foam as the juice sort of goes through and coats over it, really. It's almost like, it's like drinking, say, a Guinness with that sort of, that real sort of smooth mouthfeel. The mouthfeel is the star of it. So obviously they've got the brew right in terms of the large proportion of wheat to plump up the body. Whether it needs more oats as well, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you can see a lot of beer with more oats, and that gives a nice sort of real hazy sort of body and creamy body, and also wheat. So any of that's to sort of thicken it up. But I think it really works well. Great mouthfeel, very juicy, orangey flavour. I would probably like a little bit more, again, to do with the hops, really. But, I probably want something a little bit more brighter, maybe some more so more notes to it, because the tropical flavour, the orange flavour is sort of very immediate, and it's there, and it doesn't develop too much. It's just a very easy drinking. 6%, so it's a slightly lower level of what I would call a sweet spot for an IPA. I think 6.5% is the sort of is the best sort of level, I think, for an IPA. This has got, you know, it makes it more easy drinking. It's obviously smooth, goes down well. It's good. It's a return to form for me. So against community guidelines, it's a great artwork, you know, with a croc on it, 2 crocs on it. Looks pretty good. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for against community guidelines. It's a 6% IPA with Citra, with Enigma and Strata. Yeah, I don't see Enigma that much. I know Polly's use it a bit. Strata's used and Citra's used quite a lot. It's very Strata always, for me, brings in a lot of grapefruit flavours, and there isn't much in that. So anyway, let's go through those scores. So first, the aroma. First things first, with any beer, does it smell like you want to drink it? And this absolutely does. Really sweet orange, sort of stone fruits like mangoes and peach and apricot in there. And it just is very sort of real sweet tropical fruits. It's difficult to sort of pick out one fruit over another, but it's just a very inviting sort of aroma. So I'm going to get 14. Appearance. Well, obviously, because it's got this great bit of foam on this beer, it's a nice cloudy, you know, it's a slightly sort of, well, I say slightly, it's basically a golden orange sort of colour, but I think, you know, with that lacing of the glass, the nice foam that sort of sticks there, I think it looks very, very good. 9 out of 10 for appearance. Flavour-wise, similar to the aroma, you get a lot of orange up front, lots of other sort of almost undescribable tropical sort of flavours, like an umbongo sort of mixture of just about everything. There's mango and there's papaya in there. There's probably a bit of passion. Actually, there is passion fruit in there in terms of flavours. And you also get, you know, all the sort of stone fruits. But it's quite flavoursome. It's sweet and the flavour's light. It doesn't get into a point of over-ripened fruits. It doesn't go dank really at all. It's still quite light and fresh. The star, though, is the mouthfeel. It is really creamy, like you would expect from the sort of Deya of sort of 2021, I should say. It's creamy, it's soft, there's very low levels of carbonation. It glides down really well. So I'm going to get 34 for flavour. Value for money. Well, we love Deya because it's 500ml cans. That's always a good sign. This is under a 5. I think $4.95 this was. I think it's pretty good value for a 6% IPA because it's got a little bit more volume in terms of actual amount of beer in it. So I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. My overall experience, well, as I said, the star of the show is really, you know, the fact that it looks good. It's got this nice foam. You drink it and it's got this creamy, soft mouthfeel. And the fruit, it's just a nice sort of juicy fruit flavours. There's a little bit of a very slightness of bitterness on the back end, a bit of orange rind, as it were. But that just gives it a bit more robustness, rounds off the flavours of the beer. I think it's very good. It's up to the sort of Deya standards that I expect. It's an interesting choice of hops, really, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I'll be picky about it. I can't be picky about the hops they've chose because it is very sort of sweet and orangey. It's a very sort of upfront orangey flavour, I think. Orange and passion fruit. But I still think it's pretty good and it glides down really well because of that great mouthfeel. So I'm at 14 for overall. We topped those scores up and I'm glad to say we're nearly in the highly recommended, but we're still recommended 79, right at the top level recommended. So, you know, all I can say is it's recommended. So against community guidelines, again, I do think that Deya make good IPAs. Their 6 to 6.5% IPAs are good. I've probably said it before in the last videos I've done. I need to start drinking more of their double IPAs because they are good as well. And I don't think I've actually reviewed a double IPA by Deya on the channel. I've had a couple before, but I really want to try some of the saturated in series. I think they've got a saturated in Nelson Sauvin, which is one of my favourite hops. So I must get hold of that and see what that's like. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Really helps the channel, etc., etc. You hear that from every YouTuber. You know, I'm no different. Always want more. You know, I always get really excited when I get new subscribers and it goes up. And obviously, I really like, you know, if you give it a thumbs up, helps the video get seen by more people, etc., etc. You know, hopefully more people want to see this video. If you're a Deya fan, you definitely should. What else was I going to say? Oh yes, and the other thing I was going to say is that we've got another Deya coming, and we've got lots of great beers this month. We've got lots of new stuff coming on, and I'm really excited to drink them. In fact, if I could, I'd drink them all in one night and video them, but then that would probably be terrible for the channel. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it, as I said, give it a thumbs up. Please comment as well. If you've had a Deya beer recently, let me know what it was. Was it really good? Are you a big fan of Deya? I'm going to also sort of think, well, you know, have they lost? To me, they've lost a little bit of consistency, really. So maybe there's some new breweries that are going to sort of take that one of those top 3 positions from Deya, Polly's and Verdant, which are my top 3. But we'll see, probably later on in the year. Hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.